As a church, your generosity extends far beyond the walls of a church and our local communities. Through your giving, leveraging technology, and partnering with some incredible organizations, we're able to help lead people to Christ in places around the world. And today, I'd love to show you a few cases of how that's taking place. Coming up today, we'll head out to the East Coast of the United States to see how a former pro surfer uses the Bible app to grow stronger in the Word. Then we'll sit down with a few leaders from our church who recently traveled to India to learn how our global mission partners are taking action in the fight against human trafficking.
I grew up here on the coast, and I've spent most of my life as a professional surfer. And now I'm a fitness trainer, I own a gym, and basically I enjoy watching people get their lives back and being transformed. The fitness journey is tough. It's a matter of just coming and putting in the time.
Come on, let's go. Drive.
And it's my job to get in their face and be like, come on, you're gonna do this, you're gonna make it. You have to believe it.
3, 2, 1, and go. Come on, pretty work.
Yeah, when people walk through the door here at Momentum, they're carrying a lot. It could be emotional, it could be physical, the pressures of life. You can look at everything around you, and you can almost have the sense of just wanting to give up. So encouragement is a huge part of my life, being a fitness trainer, but first and foremost, I also need to be encouraged myself. I've got to get plugged in every single day to God's Word, and I do that through the Bible app on my phone. Even if it's just for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, where I get the Word in me, I become a little bit more confident, I get a little bit more boldness. I need those things to do what it is that I do.
I want to hear you down, up, good, down.
The Word is what will sustain you. Your strength is only going to get you but so far, but it's His strength that's actually going to get you through that finish line.
As a church, we care deeply that people who are vulnerable to crisis or dangerous situations are protected and cared for. And there may be no greater place of where this is happening than in the case of human trafficking taking place in India. I recently had a chance to sit down with several leaders from our church who traveled to India to learn what our global mission partners are doing in the fight against human trafficking. Take a look. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time on the backside of what I know was a really long and at times kind of emotional trip, learning about some of the issues with human trafficking that take place right in the heart of India. Help us understand the issues there and some of the things that you saw.
The stuff that we saw was incredibly difficult and really, really hard to sit with.
And what makes human trafficking such an awful thing is that it's business, that people are profiting from other people's vulnerability.
We as a church, we're passionate about making sure vulnerable people are safe. Help me understand how our church is a part of what's taking place to prevent and bring restoration in the area.
Well, you said prevent, and I think that's really the key. We got to experience our global missions partners going in and doing things like education, job training, and a lot of things to really work on the front end so that people never have to worry about making a drastic decision or being deceived into human trafficking. I mean, Tier Fund and Hope International are just amazing. For example, Hope International actually does savings groups. So what they do is they bring 10 to 12 people together. They're coming to learn about biblically based financing, and they're coming together to save money. Over time, what this is doing is this is empowering them. It's giving them dignity. It's giving them ownership over the situation that they're in.
In fact, we had this incredible experience with a man there that's got a young family who works at a rock quarry where he's just beating rock all day, 12 hours a day, and he gets injured on the job. In most situations, when somebody gets injured and they don't have an income coming into them, they get extremely desperate. What desperate parents are gonna do is they're gonna turn around and sell their children because they need to have the finances to feed themselves, to clothe themselves, house themselves. But because of this savings group, this group surrounded this man and his family and supported them for 2 whole weeks until he was able to start working again and get back on his feet. And it prevented them, his family, from being vulnerable.
Yeah. This is a really cool thing that's happening is LifeChurch, the local church on one part of the world, is actually supporting and coming alongside the local church all the way on the other side of the world. And They're in the trenches. They're building relationships with people who have been victims. And through those relationships, they're building community that's bringing people out of this very vulnerable state.
It's amazing to think that we as a church play a small part in really what the local church is doing there. The local church truly is the hero. They are the hope of the world. We know that here at home, and it's just as true over there in India. Thank you so much for all that you learned and all that you're bringing back to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being a church who cares for people while being Christ-centered. It's the way you give, the way you serve, and the way that you pray that God allows our church to make a difference both locally and abroad, all as we fulfill our mission of leading people to become fully devoted followers of Christ.